Welcome to Working for Progress, a podcast that connects us through conversations about how we craft our working lives and make progress. Through open and thoughtful conversations, our podcast starts with simple pleasures, finishes in awe, and meanders through career journeys in between. This podcast is rooted in Tribe Porty, a community co-working space and creative hub filled with entrepreneurs, freelancers, charities, social enterprises, and SMEs. We believe in the power of connection, sharing stories that inspire, challenge, and celebrate the many ways we shape our working lives. Join us as we dive into the realities of work, purpose, and progress, one conversation at a time. Matilda Mayne is a performance psychology consultant based in Edinburgh. She works with athletes, businesses, academic institutions, specialising in resilience and coping with pressure. Her life's passion has been to understand the value of stress and the importance of our relationship with it. Welcome, Matilda. Welcome, and thank you for coming in. We're going to start out nice and easy with your 5 simple pleasures.
Ooh, great. One that I discovered recently, which is maybe a new pleasure, is foraging. Really weird. I made a Christmas wreath on the weekend, and I just walked around my local park and found like bits of holly and ivy and fir branches, and that was a really different way to just go for a walk and see what I was noticing.
Cool.
The simple pleasures, my morning ritual of hot lemon and honey every day. That's definitely on the list. And probably a close follow-up is breakfast, which is always toast with butter and Marmite and 2 fried eggs.
Nice.
And it's like, I try and have that everywhere.
Yeah.
Are you joking?
No, I'm not joking. That is my favourite breakfast.
I'm so glad. I feel so seen by this. Some people really can't
Like,
stand
yes.
Marmite, right? Like, yeah.
It also makes me really good because I know how healthy you are. So I'm like, oh, okay, it's okay. It's always sourdough.
If only you knew.
All right, okay.
How many is that? 3?
Sure. As many as you want to. 1 more, 2 more, whatever you like.
One that's definitely a must-have on a regular basis is watching a movie with my partner. What I used to use, the Whoop bands that kind of like monitor everything, and it would consistently tell me that when I was watching a movie with Matthew, it was like the moment where I was like the calmest. Out of everything happening in my day.
No matter what kind of film?
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. It was so funny, actually.
Nice.
Yeah, comedy, drama, whatever it was.
Cool.
It was nice. And then maybe number 5, probably conversations like these. I spend a lot of I'm really lucky to spend a lot of my day just in conversation with people, trying to understand what's going on. And
good
inside.
conversations, I guess, because you got to get to kind of the core of things in your conversations.
Meaningful, deeper ones.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's a skill, isn't it? Yeah. On that note, I'd love to know some of the values that you live by. It could be 1, it could be 3, whatever comes to mind for you.
Yeah. Well, probably linked to the conversations thing. I think the curiosity piece is something that seems to come up regularly for me, and that I really try and hone and practice and bring in, like when you're speaking to someone and being able to just go a little bit deeper, to explore, to actually be interested. I guess maybe I'm in a profession where I'm using things, I'm around things that I'm naturally curious about. Like I really just want to understand how people work, and that's probably what helps to work in my field. But even in just like everyday behaviors, like I just love watching people and trying to understand, and not just stereotype, but empathize, putting myself in their shoes. So that sort of trying to see a little bit beyond what's obvious, or beyond the book cover, feels like it's something that's been really important. And then one thing I was thinking of in kind of reflecting before this was probably the idea of growth. I tend to be someone who struggles with a fear of stagnation and not doing. So that's been like a long work in progress in terms of just getting more comfortable with staying still, right, in life in general, and the not doing. But I think it's it comes from a good place of really like ambition and belief and feeling like there's lots to do, and actually not wanting to miss any opportunities and just set the bar as high as possible. So yeah, it's probably something I've had to learn how to balance and manage, like having experienced like a lot of burnout if it's not regulated well, but then feeling like, I think one of the things that has really helped me to get better at is just not like being very comfortable stretching myself into like going into situations that I am nervous about or that are challenging or difficult. Like there's sort of a habit or a culture I've developed around like, oh, that feels challenging, hard, okay, let's go and see what we can benefit from if we go and do that. Yeah, which I'm really grateful for. I think that's served me a lot in different areas.
And all those kind of values really weave into your work quite fundamentally, don't they? So just for our listeners, what are you doing at the moment in terms of your work? Yeah,
so I'm a sports psychologist by trade, which means that I spend time with athletes of lots of different levels, from grassroots all the way up to people who are either trying to or actually competing at Olympic and Paralympic level or in professional sport, and time with their coaches as well. And my role is to basically support them in whatever their missions are. So that could be very results and kind of performance driven. It could be very much about understanding themselves in a deeper way and using that to just thrive in their life in general. It's pretty broad. But that's the day to day, and so I've been doing that for a few years now. I formally qualified earlier this year, but have kind of been in that space for a little while longer. That's the day job, and I guess like it took me a while to get to realize that that's what I wanted to do, and that existed as well. Like it's not something I grew up knowing that, oh, you can go and be a sports psych, like that's a field that people know about. It's very niche, and so it was more driven by like what I was interested in trying to understand in myself. Like when I was younger, I felt like I really didn't know how to manage stress, or really didn't know how to thrive under pressure, but really wanted to. And so through my own experiences in sport, it was in training in combat sports and like watching my sister be a rower for a national team. I was just like, oh, like what is that she's doing that I don't know how to do, but it seems to be really helpful for her to go and thrive. That's kind of how it developed. And actually earlier on, I didn't really think I was going to work in sport. I just wanted to work in like pressured environments. So I went and explored like random, I guess you would call them random work environments actually, and I was trying to look for stuff that was difficult so I could go and experience something
looking for difficult things.
That's the great thing. Do you know what I mean? Like looking for what is a bit dark and a bit like hard, to see what I could learn.
And what is the biggest lesson in that space in terms of, because we're often really hard on ourselves, and that's not necessarily the answer either, and making things difficult all the time isn't necessarily what you were going for. But what is the big takeaway in terms of approaching difficult situations and then being better at the other side of it somehow?
Yeah, that's such a good point. Right time, right place.
Okay.
There's a time and a place for it. When I was younger, in my early 20s, it was just like you see something hard, go for it, like automatic and nearly like a default option, and that very much led to burnout and heightened anxiety and not understanding why I was constantly tired and felt out of control, and also not understanding why I wasn't getting a sense of growth, because I really had this low tolerance for stillness and not being able to just stay and not do and rest, and really like not valuing rest, not understanding that the purpose of recovery or what you actually get from it. So I feel like once I burnt out badly enough a couple of times, which happened for better or for worse quite early on in my early 20s, I really did a deeper dive in trying to understand recovery, and basically realizing that growth happens in cycles. And I think that's been a big lesson, and thankfully something that has also helped in working in the sport eating industry, which often is not circular, it's very linear, it's like just constant growth. But being able to run my own life more in cycles, and actually realizing that for every peak you have to have a trough, and the trough isn't just missing out on stuff or not doing enough, it's collecting and digesting and reaping what you've sown, so that you get a chance to have another cycle afterwards. And actually the deeper the recovery, the more you gain momentum for the next round, so to speak. So that's really helped me pay more attention to when I'm just feeling on the other end of that peak, like when I'm starting to feel tired or starting to lose motivation for something. I think it's really helped me reframe that from something going wrong, right? Because in the linear model, you should always be motivated, or you're always excited, or you're always productive. And to be able to reframe that as just signs to start more of a recovery process, and actually embrace it and do it actively, and manage my and other people's expectations around it.
Do you think that there's more of an awareness around kind of that approach versus the linear one? Because I'm thinking in sport, particularly like elite sport, they're a commodity almost. They're not. Who cares, except for the individual, about their longer term health or what they want to do after? They want them to be the best now at any expense, really. Have we grown out of that, or is that
it's definitely starting? I mean, some like more prominent or more public writing has been done. Kath Bishop is a former rower. She's also a diplomat, has had like this amazing career, and she has this phrase in a book, and has done a lot of writing around this, called the long win, which is very much about we need to move beyond medals at all costs. Like, we have people at the center of this, like humans who are going to have lives afterwards. And for a long time it has felt like the dominant culture in sport has been that you are a commodity, and that you just get discarded once your purpose, which is getting medals, has been fulfilled or not, or you've just kind of like gone by your sell-by date, and then you're done. I think it is really changing. Some pockets as like all change faster than other pockets, but I think things like seeing women come back from a pregnancy and continuing to perform, this idea that you could do sport for longer, and that you just have to be creative and find or think differently or adapt what we think is the best way to get success. And so there's a huge movement around this, I think, within sport, to look at being driven by purpose and not just short-term thinking.
I love that, and I feel like I'm connecting it with the kind of world of work, because we're so we're told that that's success for work-wise. It's like, achieve high growth as fast as possible, sell your company, and does it really matter at what cost, particularly around your personal costs? So I'm glad. I wonder, like, later on, how that kind of approach to getting the best from yourself, but like realizing the best is that cycle of doing your best, and then there's a rest and recovery, and then the repair part before you can.
Have you noticed any shifts in the work that you see? This
is why I'm so frustrated with why I've actually finished Keystone, is because I thought it was coming, but then now it seems to be this focus, particularly for women, around this. I don't know, maybe it's because somebody feels like women need to still prove themselves as good as men in the business world, so therefore they're like doing the same mistakes as men, so like make as much money as possible, get investors. Like, it's just the focus seems to be like we've learned nothing.
Right, like success is just be bigger and make it growth for growth's sake,
instead of actually we know more than that. We know there's a bigger piece, and like all those other things around a person matter as well. And the lie that you can't attend to those things and be good at what you do at the same time. Do you know what I mean? It seems like it has to, if you want to have that, then you have to not think of those things, and I don't think that's true. No,
and it's just not true. And when you have experienced that in your life, it's so obvious, right? But it's when it's not again, the dominant narrative in the wider world, it can just feel like, oh my God, like how do we get this to be implemented? And I mean, in sport it's exactly the same. Like really like most people in sport will separate performance and well-being, like that in itself. I'm just like,
what?
And many people would be like, no, you just can't do that. But it's just a way of thinking that that somehow they're not the same, one and the same thing. I think there's been some more in sport, like some more prominent figures, like oh God, his name actually escapes me now, Marcus Rashford, who is doing, like the footballer who was doing a lot.
I'm terrible about
but he was like did a lot around actually finding purpose outside of sport was what made him good on field.
See,
right? This idea that it's not a detraction, that actually it fuels you as a person, it's an addition, and that like if you are basically in charge of your life in the way that you want to, that you're gonna thrive. Like funny that, like what a surprise. I'm exasperated by a lot of it with that. Like I feel really lucky to be able to work with junior athletes, you know, when they're like 15, 16, 17, you can start to teach some of these ideas. Like, I don't know, just even the basic concepts like your athlete identity and how much your athlete identity drives your behaviors and your mindset and your sense of belonging, and that if your only way to get a sense of belonging is through your team, you are going to do whatever it takes to make sure you don't lose that, but it can be at the expense of a sense of independence from it. So you feel more like you have to be part of the team, have to succeed, have to follow what the team or the industry wants in order to feel like you are connected and feel like you fit in. If you have a more like a strong athlete identity but a diverse identity, and you have lots of other strings to your bow, and you as a person are invested in, regardless of what you're doing as an athlete, you're so much more flexible. I think it reminds me, I remember when we did Tribe Women, we talked so much about when you're building a business as an entrepreneur, invest in you as a person, and if you invest in you as a person, your business will thrive. It's exactly the same thing. That's their, in sport, like that's their professional identity. But because people start sport so young, and because it is something that you choose as a hobby and a passion to start with, and then it becomes a job, you see like how deeply entrenched that athlete identity is I think it's much more extreme than in most other walks of life, I would say.
And do you get the sense from kind of the younger athletes you work with that there's a desire to kind of look at themselves as a whole piece, or they're more aware of potential burnouts? I feel like everybody's burning out all the time. Do you feel like there's an appetite in working differently, like the way that you're promoting? You do. That's
but it might be that I'm super biased because I see that everywhere. Sure. Well, I see the opportunities for that everywhere, and I'm having a lot of conversations about it. So it might just be that's what I'm seeing. But I think people are rejecting the model because it's not sustainable. Like especially when generally we're going through an existential crisis as a society, right? And on the planet, like it's just not possible to pursue something without having a clear sense of what's the point. Like, why am I doing this? So I think people are questioning what we're doing a lot more, for better or for worse. But then again, sport can also be a refuge from feeling like the world is falling apart, because it's simple and it's straightforward.
Sure.
You get on your rowing machine, you do your session, you're done. And you do that for the week, because you've got a weekly program, and then you do that for the next 3 months because that's your race, and you do it for the next 3 years because that's the next Olympics. So like in terms of simplifying life, I think sport can be
structure.
And that's a double-edged sword. Sometimes a godsend, sometimes you're just delaying the moment where you have to contend with the bigger questions around like, why am I doing this and this and that. So I think there is more of an appetite for it, but sport will always be a thing that people go to because it just gives you a structure, I think, and gives you at that level gives you a way of doing things.
And do you feel like there's more, like we're getting more extreme? I don't know, I'm just thinking about races and challenges, and there's this like weird thing about everybody needing to push themselves. Even I don't know, even like to the point.
You know what I heard the other day? The Ironman is the new marathon, right? Like that's like what we were talking about before.
I think that's like, true.
But is that just, where's that coming from?
That's just human evolution of some sort of needing to keep pushing, or
What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, part of me thinks it's for some people, maybe not so much for athletes, maybe for your normal plonker. You know, like there's weird trends of like going on a long haul flight and I forget the name of it, not listening to anything or watching any films, and you don't drink water.
Oh yeah, it's called rawdogging.
Yeah, I was like, this has a really weird name that I'm gonna get wrong and it'll sound terrible. Rawdoggings. What I mean, like, why do you think we need these things? Because we're so devoid from proper connection with nature, because we're sit in this weird false worlds of our screens. I don't know. Is that what that is?
I definitely think all of those contribute. I'm not going to sit here and be like, let me explain.
Yeah,
this to you,
please
Dani,
do.
I've nailed it.
This is why I brought you here. I need to know the answers of these questions.
I just think a lot of us feel a bit lost.
Yeah. I mean, like even the ice baths and
yeah.
We need shocked back into feeling.
Yeah. And part of me thinks sometimes they're coping mechanisms for the crazy uncertainty that we have, and we try and reassure this anxiety that how is this all going to end? Like what's the world going to become? And I think we just try and be like, okay, let's equip ourselves for something hard. I think that's maybe like going in the back of everyone's mind slightly. Yeah.
I mean, obviously resilience building is good. Like experiencing things and knowing you can get to the other side is healthy.
I think there's a big thing of we're desensitized. A lot of us are desensitized just from the amount of stimulation that we get. Like, I don't know, but like, I think I've made an effort to just go back to reading and being able to spend more time reading as opposed to on my phone or just like on screens and stuff like that. But the amount of information we're having to process, just the level of mental activity we're having to maintain on a regular basis, I think people are just like,
and the speed of it,
a little bit wired.
Yeah.
And so desensitized to, like, interesting how you put it. It's like we nearly need to tune back into feeling and being able to feel less, and for that to register.
So this kind of feeling of being content and being ambitious, it's kind of a tension that I think particularly when you're the best, either in a small pond or a big pond, there has to be a level of pushing yourself that comes with that being the best. But then do you think that most top athletes don't think they're ever enough?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Damn it, I thought you were gonna say no. I thought you cracked it.
Oh my god, it's like the most it's so hard, because actually if you take a large group of athletes, you'll find exactly the same variations that you would in any population, right? Any office.
That's actually I'm warmed by that thought, actually.
Yeah. I think we have this massive stereotype that like athletes are just like
a different breed,
and there's a particular mindset that you need to be an athlete, and actually athletes really suffer from that. Like I have a lot of conversations with people who are like incredible athletes, like competing on international stage, like they're up there, but because they're not Olympic gold medalists, like they feel like they're not as good as, and there's this perception like, oh, but if you're an Olympian, or like if you are an Olympic medalist, then you're different, and therefore you must have. But then Olympians will be like,
oh wait, I only have a bronze. No wait, I only have a silver. Yep. No, I only have one gold. Yeah, there's never enough.
It's never ending. And you've only been to one Olympics, really?
Yeah, right. That's true.
It's never ending. How do you feel content with what you've got? I'm just the wrong person to like. I really struggle with this personally, like in my own career, really feeling like this discontent. I mean, my main solution to it recently has been like, well, just try and focus less on work. Yeah, like just build the rest of your life out a little bit. And
I guess that's it with sport particularly. Like, what else are you? Other than
outside,
I mean, we could apply that to work as well, couldn't we? What else are you beside your profession? Yeah, because we're a lot of things. We're not our work. I mean, it's important, and it can be important. It can be really fulfilling, but if you were to lose it, will you completely fall apart?
Yeah. Do you know, and there's definitely a point where I felt like if I lost mine, I would completely fall apart.
Yeah.
It's so funny because I know all the theories.
Yeah.
I know all the research on having an exclusive performance identity. And I was just like, oh, yep, that's me. But yeah, I guess I'm a lot more aware of it. But yeah, like when things don't go right, that's when you really suffer from it. So I'm right in the middle of wrestling with that. Like, how do I think about success in my career, beyond just like when I retire, if there's such a thing as like a point where I cross the retirement line, and I think about my career and I'm like, well, how successful did it feel? Am I going to just look at the list of my client roster? Like, that just feels really shallow. And terrible.
Surely you're going to look back and be like, that person, I learned so much from that person. Look what that person was able to do with my support.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
The growth. That's it. The growth. The personal transformation. That stuff.
That person didn't burn out. That person had a long career.
Yeah.
Like, feel like those are good milestones, aren't they?
Definitely. But like,
this is the
when
culture.
is the industry gonna
I
reward
know.
that?
It drives me crazy, but I think we have to drive it, right? Like,
yeah.
So that's your talking point then.
Yeah, definitely.
And in your own work, I mean, did you know what you wanted to be when you were growing up? And do you see yourself in this line of work?
I wanted to be
till you're
a choreographer
dead?
When I was 15. I
What
know you
kind
wanted
of
to be
choreographer? Yeah,
you actually did it.
And
before that, I wanted to be a ninja or a spy.
Ninja or spy. I mean, I think you could be a great spy.
I haven't given up on it yet.
Good. Although I worry for your life, but it might be thrilling. I would be a terrible spy.
Yeah, but no, I get your point. Like, we can't predict where it's going to go. But yeah, it just feels like it takes a lot of courage to go and like be that person when you're like, when there's a lot of other people that are loud and saying that what success is something different. Yeah, it
does. But I think the more you're in it and the more you look, you can see other people, you realize that that's usually not the real stuff. That's very surface. I mean, I think in the world of particular Instagram and things, I now know, can almost safely bet, if they have an amazing daily practice on LinkedIn and Instagram, they don't have any clients because you're working.
Yes,
people don't, because they're working, they don't have time to do it, you know, like it's just,
that makes me feel so much better about my complete lack of public
it's
profile.
so true though. Like, the people that I know who are doing it and doing such a good job and have great lives and have great friendships and relationships, they ain't got time for it. They really don't. And they might maybe be losing potential clients, but maybe not, because they're building real things on the ground, you know. I know, what's the kind of biggest risk you've taken in your life? It doesn't have to be work, but it could be work.
I mean, doing an Ironman feels pretty high up.
Yeah.
No, do you know what I was thinking of in context of work? I feel like there's two big risks I took. One was starting out after my postgrad degree, just deciding to like start a business with no plan, no business experience, literally like complete naivete. Sometimes
you need that,
which was great at the time, but really I was like, no money in the bank, like no security, like no, of course I had like family backup, like I had probably many safety blankets, but just not a clue, like, and just experimenting. And I think that risk really paid off. Like, I learned so much, and my business failed. Like, it didn't sustain itself financially, but it was such a success in so many other ways.
That's so good to hear. I'm glad you're saying that out loud.
The other risk that I took was actually taking a full-time job.
Yeah. Did it feel risky?
It felt so risky.
Yeah.
I felt like, because I developed a bit of an identity in the entrepreneurship space, and that sense of camaraderie with other people who are in the same boat and who don't have, you know, the you know, your employer paying for your sick days and the holiday pay and all that stuff. And the freedom, the creativity, like there's just so many things that I loved about that lifestyle. And and going full time in the job that I'm in today, I was like, am I going to feel trapped? Am I going to, like, even just like shutting down some projects? Am I going to feel more disconnected from some friends and colleagues? Am I going to feel like I end up stagnating? That felt like a really big thing to give up, like the freedom. Like I got so much more security from it, but the freedom was really scary to give up. And I feel like I did lose some of it. But I'm relearning now how to, like, ways I can bring it back in.
Yeah, because that mindset, that entrepreneurial mindset, can be definitely for employed people. And I think if we push that in organizations, then everybody's going to be better off.
Definitely.
But I guess as an employer, maybe that's scarier because you have less control, or there's some fear around. Well, sometimes it's competency. You don't want to bring someone in that's better than you if you're not very secure.
Definitely.
Well, if you're very secure, you know to bring good people in only serves you. So then but not everybody is confident about that.
High trust as a leader, right? To be able to take those risks. Yeah.
We've kind of talked about how your work has shaped your identity, and your identity is beyond your work. But how do you see yourself in 5 years? Do you have a plan, or how do you live kind of your future self?
Yeah, no plan.
Fair enough.
How do I see future self? I kind of have this idea in mind that I would like to peak in like my 50s and 60s. Whereas I feel like I'm
peak in your career.
When I was younger, I very much had this idea that if you are one of these people who are destined to be successful, it'll happen early on. And so I was very I felt in a rush to arrive quickly. Like 25, like it should be happening now. And if it's not happening now, maybe I'm not one of those people. Just the really unhelpful narrative. Part of the whole like interest in endurance sport actually was, I felt like it would help me manage my career better. Of thinking of playing a long game. Long game. I want to be able to work for not just 30 or 40 years, but for 50 or 60 years. Like my dad is 70-ish. Sorry, Dad. And he is trying to retire, and he built his own business, and so it's kind of, again, like he's got some projects that are really peaking, so it's really hard to put them away. But he is also deciding to like retrain. So he worked in like sustainable development and did a lot of leadership coaching in that space. And now he's retraining as a historical tour guide with like specialism in oh my god, I'm gonna butcher this, like Romanesque churches, like just so niche. And I think that's amazing because it's like a new chapter of his working life.
That's inspiration.
Community driven, and he's got it's a mental challenge. He's got to memorize a ton of stuff, but it's driven by what he loves, and he's like really connecting with people and communities and architecture. Like there's so much to it, and I really like that as a model of retirement, rather than like you work really hard and then it's all leisure. More into like, all right, what's the next thing that you get to go and learn about and upskill in?
We don't talk about our kind of 100-year plan. Even in business, like we don't ever talk about businesses in like, well, what would I like this business to do in 100 years from now?
I love that so much.
Right?
I've never even heard that
as
a phrase.
And I think that's how we're so short-term thinking, and it's making us ill. And it's making our economies ill, and it's making, like people in this rush, this race, and then you die.
That's it. Really short cycles. I love that. What's your 100-year plan?
Right. I mean, great. I would love for you to be teaching 80-year-olds how to train for a marathon.
That would be incredible.
How cool is that?
I would love that.
I mean, I want to be part of that club.
But it has so many implications for how you approach next. It's like the big thing for me is like, right, motivation is probably one of our capacities or energies that actually we don't really think of as something that needs managing, but it does. Like it doesn't, again, like this linear model, like you should be motivated all the time, and if you're not motivated you don't care enough, or I don't know. It's just so many stereotypes from the sporting world that just need to be chucked in the bin. But this idea that motivation fluctuates. Like you might go 5 years, 10 years not feeling like doing something.
That's true.
And so in that space, like, again, how do you recover that? How do you like embrace that? What are you going to do in that time? And can you spot that so that you actually, don't sort of tie yourself up in knots about not feeling up for something that you have been doing for a while. And there's definitely a skill in terms of just, right, you're going to take your time a lot more if you're playing a long game.
When's the last time you experienced a state of flow, which I'm sure happens a lot, or experienced a sense of awe?
In life or at work?
Yeah, anytime.
Flow, I've got two things in mind. Flow, going foraging on the weekend and picking up things to make a Christmas wreath, and just like, it's the first time I ever did it, and going from that process of being in nature, and again, a walk that I do all the time, or that I run by this path all the time, but suddenly doing it, looking for things to forage, or like, I was just like, oh my gosh, I feel completely immersed in this. Like, I could have done it for hours. And then the process of creating something and then gifting it to someone, because I was making something for my father-in-law. I was like, oh, that's so nice. Good. Yeah, and my partner said, oh, you look really well today. Aww. At the end of that day.
Isn't that amazing?
But the other thing that came to mind, more in a sense of like, was I met she's a clinical sports psychologist. She works with big name teams, and again, not necessarily super in the public eye, but it's kind of in the industry, really seen as very effective. And she came and just delivered a session for our team at the university, and talking about like being in, I think she must be in her 50s or 60s, I don't know, but in terms of like a model of an older woman thriving, like with a real sense of power, and like the balance of power and compassion and the skillfulness that she had, like, just, I was just like, oh my god, like complete new crush on, nice. Or just like a sense of, I really want to go, I want something like that, I want to go towards
and you
that.
know that's from the inside, like, maybe she's not even counting what she's done on the outside. I think that's the hard bit that we forget. When you see someone like that, you don't actually give a shit her credits and things. She's like because emanating it. Yeah,
totally. And you totally get that. You totally, I mean, I get it in my head. Doesn't mean I can do it really well, but I'd like to work towards it. That's for sure. It's just, when you see it, it's just, it glows.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
It's incredible. Yeah.
Oh, that's really inspirational. Thank you so much. Oh, thanks for coming in. Lovely chat. I could chat to you for another hour, I'm sure. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Dani. Good to be here.
Pleasure. To show your support, please like and subscribe to this podcast. If you'd like to learn more and stay connected to Tribe Porty and Working for Progress, please visit tribeporty.org. There you can subscribe to our newsletter and follow us on Instagram and Facebook, where we share monthly blogs offering insights into how we craft our working lives. This has been Working for Progress. We hope you join us again.